Verse 8. The righteous is delivered from trouble. God rescues good men from danger. But He allows the wicked person to take the place of the righteous. You remember when the Red Sea was opened up, the Israelites came through it, and the Egyptians got drowned in that very same Red Sea. That's an explanation of that verse. We find another fulfillment of it in Haman and Mordecai in the book of Esther, where Haman prepared a gallows to hang Mordecai on. Finally, he hung on it himself. The righteous is delivered, and the wicked takes the place of the righteous. It's a great encouragement to us to read the book of Proverbs, to see that God rescues good men from danger. And He turns the tables on Satan when Satan seeks to do something to me. If I humble myself and live in righteousness before God, God is able to rescue me from that danger. The things that evil people may plot against me or scheme. Yeah, it says God rescues good men from danger. Verse 8. I heard a very beautiful story of John Wesley, who preached righteousness and who was hated by many people in England because he led people away from drinking, and the drinking sales, alcohol sales went down, and so many things like this, that he was hated by people. He was hated for exposing religious harlotry, and there were people who hated him so much that they wanted to kill him. But they wanted to do it without being caught themselves, and John Wesley used to ride all over England in a horse. And there is a story that they knew that he'd be riding through a particular place one night, and so they tied a strong but thin rope across two trees, across that path through which John Wesley would come riding on a horse. And it would be night. John Wesley wouldn't be able to see this rope stretched across, and as he came riding on it, he'd be thrown off the horse, and they hoped that he would die. And John Wesley, sure enough, came riding down, and just a few seconds before he reached this rope, an ant bit him on his foot, and he bent down to scratch his foot, and he passed under the rope and came out the other side. You see, God is the God of the ants. Sometimes we wonder why God created ants. We'll discover that they saved the life of a man of God. And likewise with all the other mosquitoes and other things which we sometimes wonder why they exist, we'll discover the judgment seat of Christ, how all these served a function to help somebody or the other, somewhere or the other. God rescues good men from danger. And John Wesley used to say that. He says, I'm a man sent from God. Nobody can kill me till my time is finished. We must have that faith. If we walk in righteousness and humility before God's face, nothing that other people do or scheme can ever touch us. Impossible. Impossible. It's God Almighty who is in charge. Verse 9. With his mouth, the godless man destroys his neighbor, but through knowledge, the righteous will be delivered. There's a connection here between this verse and the previous verse. The meaning here is, the godless man, he may try to kill a man of God in this way, as I just said about John Wesley, but he may also try to destroy a person with words. The godless man tries to destroy you, say, with his words, by slandering you, saying all types of things evil against you. But the righteous will not fall in that trap. Let me read this to you. Through knowledge, the righteous will be delivered. Through the knowledge of what? The righteous person has knowledge of, for example, Isaiah 54:17, which says that no weapon that is formed against you will prosper, and every tongue that shall rise up in judgment against you, you shall condemn. So he knows that all these words that people speak against me can never harm me. He's delivered. And the righteous is delivered through knowledge, means that he knows, Romans 8:28, that all things will work together for my good, to those who love God and who are called according to that purpose. If we have knowledge of that, through that knowledge, we are delivered from all these evil words that people may speak against us. And also, this verse can be translated like this in the Living Bible. In the margin it says, when a godless man slanders his neighbor, When an evil man slanders you, the charges won't stick on you because everyone knows your reputation. If you have lived in righteousness through the years and people know your reputation, whatever evil the devil may try to fling on you through godless people, it won't stick on you because people know what you are. So why should you waste your time defending yourself? Leave that to God. Verse 10. A city is happy when honest people have good fortune, and there are joyful shouts when wicked men die. That is, when a person is good, the whole city celebrates a good man's success, in the sense that where a man has been good to others, his success is appreciated. But even more, as it says in verse 11, which is a continuation of that, the influence of godly people causes a city to prosper. By the blessing of the upright, a city is exalted. And we believe that the best thing that any city can have is a living church of Jesus Christ in their midst. That is the thing, that is the only unit in that whole city that can bind all the evil spirits and bless that city. It's the blessing of the upright that by which a city is exalted and protected from demons. But by the mouth of the wicked, it is torn down. Just like in Sodom, if there were 10 righteous people, God said to Abraham, I'll spare that city. But there were not 10 righteous people. And so the city could not be spared. And that teaches us, brothers and sisters, what a tremendous thing it is to be a righteous man, an upright righteous man. You may not be famous or a chief minister or have influential contacts or any such thing. But I believe that verse is true, say, for Bangalore, where we live. In the day when we stand before the Lord and we see this whole world's history as God saw it, and we look back, we'll see that Bangalore was blessed the most by the people who lived in this city who were righteous. And God knows who they are, but whoever they are, through their righteousness and their uprightness and their godliness, they brought a blessing on the city which chief ministers and police officials and the whole jing-bang lot could never bring. And we'll see that in eternity. That is the blessing of the upright which exalts a city. And that's why God calls us to be upright and righteous and not a bunch of compromisers talking high-sounding religious stuff. But righteous and upright. Verse 12. It says here, the mark of a fool is that he belittles other people. It is foolish to speak scornfully of others. If you are sensible, you will keep quiet. When you speak scornfully about another person, what does it prove? It proves one thing anyway. It proves that you're a fool. That's clear. Whatever else it may not prove, it may or may not prove something about the other person, but one thing it proves very clearly is that the man who speaks like that is a spiritual idiot, who despises his neighbor. Whenever we despise someone because of their lack of education, or because they cannot pronounce some words right, or because their face looks a bit funny, or they walk in a funny way, or they do something, and we despise them for it. Yeah. He may walk in a funny way, that may be true. He may be a bit lame or a bit ugly, but you're a spiritual idiot. That's much worse, and that's what you don't realize when you despise another person for something like that. Never forget this, that it's foolish to speak scornfully about other people and to despise them. We just don't have any wisdom at all when we despise another person. And it doesn't have to be a believer, even to despise an unbeliever. Leave them alone, brothers and sisters. If there's folly and evil in others, leave them alone. Don't despise them. A man of understanding keeps silent. That's a wonderful verse. It keeps on saying about this man of understanding holding his tongue. It's amazing how right through the book of Proverbs you see that one mark of wisdom is that when all the others are, say, around you, despising and speaking evil about someone, you sit there and you keep quiet. You're the man of wisdom. Because you don't despise others like the people around you despise them. That's a good word for those who are in schools and colleges and where you find people speaking so many evil things about others.